Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial. We're going to be making this wooden chair as shown here in this example. We're going to start with this part, then the front leg, the back leg, and of course this back side. We are going to add this wooden texture at the end. Here is our first scene, so I'm going to delete this camera and lamp and move to the front view. Shift A to add the image reference. Here, I'm going to move this cube forward and also sideways. Before I start, let's activate an add-on that is very useful in this case, which is going to allow you to see almost every key that I type in the keyboard regarding every step. About this add-on, it is not given by default, so if you want it, you have to download it. So here, let's move this up, the cube as well. Let's scale it on the z-axis and scale it on the other axis. As you see here in this image reference, this edge is shorter than this edge, so we're going to do the same here. So let's, while selected, tap the edit mode and press Z. That allows you to see beyond the object so that we can select this and scale on the x-axis. Okay, now we need to select the edges, and that will allow us to apply a tool which is called bevel, and that will allow us to have these curved edges wherever we want. So here I selected the wrong edge. Here's the 4 edges we need for now. So Control B and slide down. If you want to add faces, you scroll down or up. I don't know how it works on your computer. So I guess this is about the right Here I have selected the other edges, and we can apply the same thing we did. But before that, let us go back to object mode and Control A in order to apply the scale, because if you remember, we have already scaled this cube to make it that small. So we go back and we apply this time this bevel. Now it will yield the result expected. Of course, we're not done yet for this part. If you see here in this image, we have the central part which is a little bit depressed. The surface level is not the same as this peripheral part, so we need to extrude it inwards. This is what we are going to do. First, let's select this first face. Before we move it downwards, let's extrude and scale it inwards a little bit, and then E, and this time we're going to okay. Let's keep it there for now. Now let's take care about these legs. To do so, I'm going to use a cylinder and Shift A, mesh cylinder. Front view to see it correctly. Let's scale on the X and Y. Move it. scale it even more. Okay, let's move now to the side views. Let's correct the position on this view. I guess we need to move it even more. Fine. Now, if you notice on this image, there is some curvature here, some curving area. So what we do is we're gonna use a tool which is called warp, if I'm not mistaken. But before that, let's decrease the size of this tip of this leg, because it's smaller, obviously smaller than this part. So let's move to edit mode, press Z to scale, to be able to select everything, and scale. Maybe it's the right size. Fine. Now, to be able to to apply the tool I spoke about, I have to add some edge loops, and it will allow this part to have sufficient geometry to apply this the curvature. And we can do this by, we need to select this the end as well. Now position the 3D cursor with Shift right click, and now the tool is Shift W, and it's gonna be done this way. Okay, now we need to go back to object mode and move to this move out to the wireframe view. This leg should be pointing towards this side, so we press R and Z to rotate. Okay, now I guess this should be scaled down furthermore. So let's do that. And because we want the other parts to be scaled accordingly, proportionally, so we activate that and we do this. Fine. Now, in order to make sure, because we have applied this tool, I have to deselect this proportional editing. We have to even out this face according to the ground. From side views to, okay. Now let's take care of the back leg. The back leg, as you see in this image, it is connected to the upper part of this chair. So I'm going to use this front leg. I'm going to apply the mirror modifier, and it's going to take this part as a pivot, a center, but we want it to be in the back. Don't worry about the left side of this chair, because we are going to do the same thing. Once we have finished, we're going to mirror it on the other side. So in order to work on this, because after mirroring it is one object, we need to go in edit mode and Z and select this part. Press P and separate selection. Now it is a separate object. We can go back and select it alone and go to front view. Position it right according to the main object. And now we can go in edit mode, go back to this view, and we can select, or before that, let's select first this, and we can extrude this all along the height of the chair. Now G to move, Z to restrain the movement. Obviously it's about the same height between the upper part and the down part, or the bottom part. So it's about the same height. Now if you notice here again, there is a curvature, so we are going to do the same thing. Same thing is Control R, add these, and slide it up a little bit. Now we need to position again the 3D cursor before applying this warp, the warp tool. So Shift W, I forgot, sorry. We have to select this part as well. So Shift W, I guess this is about right. Now if we go back to object mode, we can rotate the whole thing, but before that, let's make sure that the origin of this mesh is at the center. So I have moved this 3D cursor, object, set origin, and to 3D cursor. Now we can rotate it to be more like a good chair. Okay, and also the curvature is not only sideways, it is also going this way, but not too much. You see here it started in the little bit in the center and it ended outwards. So to do so, to be able to do that, we are still selecting the same edges. All we need to do is go back here and same thing, Shift W and a little bit outwards. Now after we are done with that, let's add this pointy part here. This pointy part, and of course after that we can do this part after mirroring this the left legs to be able to have the right legs. We will omit this part, these rods, because if you want, you can add them and make it a homework for you. So yeah, let's select this one, and we can do this to cursor to select it. Shift home in order to focus, and extrude, and Shift M in order to merge them at center. So here we have our point. Now we can easily grab it, that vertex, and move it upwards. Now you see we get the desired effect. After that, we go back to the normal view, and with these two selected, or the mirror modifier can only be applied at one object at a time. So mirror modifier, always choose this central part, and it did it right from the start. So again, and here we have our chair. The only part left is this central part, and of course the texture. Yes, for the this backside, we are going to Shift A, add a plane, rotate on the x-axis 90 degrees, make sure we are in the front view and move upwards. We need to go to edit mode and add some edge loops, about 5, and here 2, 5. Right click if you want it to be kept as default. Now let's select all the vertices we need to in order to deform this according to this part. So we need to activate this proportional editing, and this will allow us to affect the environment as well. Shift G and Z. Now let's add the 3 points. All right. Now we need to move these up. Now, as you see, there is a empty space here, so we are going to select these and remove them. Delete faces. Now, in order for this to have a more closer look, or in order for it to look like this image, we're going to apply a subdivision modifier right after. So scale on the x-axis. So go here and apply the subdivision surface. Now everything is rounded. We need to correct these with edge loops. Control R always. Okay. It didn't confirm. Fine. Now let's use the same technique as before. Move it sideways. Go back and select these points and spread them apart. So SX. And here these two needs to be aligned perfectly, or almost perfectly. Okay, now, yeah, this part needs to be corrected. Let's apply this modifier, but you need to be in object mode. Apply, go back to edit mode, and let's make it look I always forget this proportional editing. Well, let's keep it there for now. Maybe we need to scale it on the z-axis. Now I guess it's positioned even more. It needs to be positioned this way, but sideways it's not. Yeah, sideways it's not rightly positioned. Because it is a plane, it is difficult to see. So let's keep it. Okay, now this is very flat. We need to go here and select the edges. This way we can do, while applying this proportional editing, Y, sorry. Well, if you want, you can add the solidify modifier. So it's not very, it has some depth. Not sure, yeah, this one. Okay. Alright. Now we need to add our texture. So we have no need for this anymore. Now let's go to the shading workspace, and let's first add, it's already added by default, the material. Before we're gonna add this texture, let's make sure to apply the add-on Wrangler, node Wrangler. If it is not ticked on, let's do it in order to be able to do this. So Shift T, and it asks you to add the texture you want. I'm going to choose this one. Alright. I'm sorry, I forgot which one. Okay. Not this one. Not this one either. Okay, let's make sure about it, because I don't want to be. It's 27. Okay, my bad. So all we need to do is select all the images, so namely the roughness, the color, and the normal. Once you did this, it will make everything for you. So every node needed, it has been added. Now we need to apply this on every other mesh. When you you have selected everything, and the last one is the one that has the texture that you want on the other ones. So you press Ctrl L and you choose material. Now we have our object. We can tweak this, make it, I guess, okay. Yeah, you can add, if it's not smooth for you, you can make shade smooth, and on every part. not this one. But if you want, you can go ahead. Alright. So this is the end of this tutorial. I hope it was helpful for you. If you find it interesting, make sure to like and subscribe, and take care.